District 2452 Governor Bashar Haddad, Rotary International Director-elect Danielle Tennessee, all my dear friend, pastors, governors, fellow Rotarians, and guests, protocol observed. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Public Image Impact on Membership Attraction and Retention session. Let us start the evening with the Rotary International Anthem. My friends, kindly observe the seminar conduct. So all the microphones will be muted when you are not speaking to avoid background noise. Later, when we open for the question, of course, everybody can unmute himself. Use the chat function and the raise hand icon to ask question or submit comments. Please avoid interrupting or talking over others. Follow the moderator's instruction and guidance.
You are muted, PDG Nijad.
Yes, I know, but I'm talking to my secretary 1 minute. My fellow Rotarians, I'm truly grateful that our Rotary International President-elect Stephanie Urchick accepted the invitation to be the keynote speaker for this meeting. And our appreciation goes as well to the well-regarded Pastor Governor Tom Gum as the moderator for this session. My friends, my wholehearted appreciation to our beloved District 2452 Governor Bashar Haddad, who's here with us tonight, for his never-ending support to the Public Image Committee. Thank you so much, DJ Bashar. Indeed, my heartfelt gratitude to the District 2452 Rotary Public Image Committee for the support and time spent in improving the awareness of our district on public image. And to all of you who are here tonight, who spared the time of being with us. Ladies and gentlemen, the District 2452 Rotary Public Image Committee's goal is to bring people together, share knowledge, and have a great time doing so. Tonight, we are gathered to learn valuable insights and perspectives. So let us all make the most of this special evening. Let us make some unforgettable memories. My dear friends, I'm thrilled to welcome a remarkable individual for whom words fail to capture his true essence. His unwavering support and guidance have been invaluable to our districts. Let us all unite in giving a great heartfelt welcome to our esteemed District 2452 Governor Bashar Haddad. DJ Bashar, the virtual floor is yours.
Thank you, PDG Nijad, and thank you for the great words. It's great to be here. And you know, I always think highly of the Public Image Committee, and I think it's the beacon of every district that we should focus on. Allow me to say some few words, please. Incoming Rotary President, incoming Director, District Governors, past District Governors, incoming District Governors, Presidents, and fellow Rotarians, protocol observed. I'm truly delighted to welcome each and every one of you to this virtual meeting focused on the crucial topic of public image in Rotary and its profound impact on membership attraction and retention. In the world of Rotary, maintaining a positive public image is not just important, it's essential. How we are being seen by the public plays a significant role in our ability to attract new members, engage in our communities, and ultimately makes a lasting impact in the world. Today, we are gathered here to dive into this topic and explore ways to enhance and strengthen our public image for the betterment of our organization and the communities we serve. I'm particularly thrilled to welcome Rotary International incoming President Stephanie Urchick. And in less than a month from now, she will be our esteemed president and sharing her goals and visions to put into practice. I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic opportunity for all us Rotarians to get involved. Incoming Rotary International President Stephanie's insight and expertise will undoubtedly shed light on new perspectives and strategies that can help us elevate our public image to new heights. Let us also express our hope and anticipation that incoming Rotary International President Stephanie will be able to visit our district in person next year, shaping even stronger connections with the Rotary community here. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to PDG Tom Gump, whose presence here today enriches our discussion and adds valuable perspective to our dialogues. Thank you, PDG Tom, for joining us. Furthermore, a special appreciation goes out to the district public image team, led by past District Governor Nijad. Your dedication and the committee dedication and hard work have made this session possible, and we are truly grateful for the opportunity to learn and grow under your guidance. I also want to take this moment to express my heartfelt gratitude for all the incredible sessions and initiatives that the public image team has organized through the year. Your commitment to enhancing Rotary public image is truly commendable. As we embark on this important conversation today, let us embrace the opportunity to learn, collaborate, and inspire one another to make a positive impact on the world through Rotary. Thank you all for being here, and let's make the most of this valuable session. Thank you. The floor is yours, PDG Nijad. PDG Nijad?
Yes. I'm here. Thank you, DG Bashar, for your kind words and really enrich us, and inspire us. Thank you very much. As we are about to give the virtual platform to our honored speaker and esteemed moderator, it's my privilege to have this opportunity to introduce them to you. Our honored speaker, Stephanie Urchick, will serve as Rotary International President in Rotary year 2024-2025. A Rotarian since 1991. She is a member of the Rotary Club of McMurray, Pennsylvania, USA. She has been Rotary International Director and Rotary Foundation Trustee. Currently, Stephanie is helping to partner clubs and districts in the US with Rotary clubs in Albania, Kosovo, and Ukraine to provide humanitarian and educational services. Stephanie's professional background is in higher education, consulting, and entertainment industries. She holds a doctorate in leadership studies from Indiana University of Pennsylvania and has been recognized and awarded by the Rotary Foundation and in numerous community and international organizations. Furthermore, our friend and esteemed speaker, BDG Tom Gum, a member of Rotary International's Membership Growth Committee 2022 to 2025, and Rotary Coordinator, Tom, with a passion for growing Rotary membership through forming new and creative clubs. Tom has founded, co-founded, helped create, and inspired dozens of new clubs around the world. He also founded a Rotary community course for refugees, serving hundreds of refugees in Minnesota, USA. Notably, Tom is one of only 1,000 Rotarians worldwide to be named to the Membership Society for new member sponsors, an achievement that recognizes his efforts in bringing in more than 50 active members into his club. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our distinguished guests, Rotary International, President-elect Stephanie Urchick and BDG Tom Gum, to take over. Please join me in welcoming them to this virtual platform. Stephanie, Tom, the virtual floor is yours.
Thank you very much, PDG Nishad, and I appreciate your invitation to be here. And DG Bashar, thank you for your kind welcome, and for all of you for being part of this special event this evening. You know, there are many things you could be doing this evening, but you've decided to be a part of this Zoom, and that tells me how important Rotary is to you and how important the image of Rotary is. You could not have invited a better person than PDG Tom Gump to be a part of this meeting, because he is recognized around the world as an expert on Rotary membership and new club formation. So I'm delighted that Tom is also part of this special meeting. I want to share with you just some thoughts about public image, and then I'll turn it over to Tom. He may have some additional questions for me or comments from him, and then we'll open up the floor for questions from you. So to begin with, I think you all understand that there is a very strong tie between public image and membership and the Rotary Foundation. They are tied together. And it is very much like when we speak about membership. To grow membership, three things have to happen at the same time: attraction, retention, and forming new clubs. And we'll get to that. And that's very true with public image, membership, and the Rotary Foundation. All three must be strong at the same time, because if they are not, if one is not, the other two will suffer. For instance, if our membership continues to decline, that affects our public image. It also affects the amount of donations, of course, that we get for our Rotary Foundation. If our donations are down, that means we have less projects and less things to talk about in our polio program and our peace centers, and that affects public image. So all three of them must be strong at the same time. You may have heard public image, membership, and the Rotary Foundation referred to as the three-legged stool. And that's exactly what they mean, what it means. It means that they're all tied together. So all three have to be strong at the same time. I was impressed by a phrase I saw on the flyer announcing tonight's program, where it said, "Strong public image fosters a sense of belonging, continued engagement, trust and loyalty, perceived value, and opportunities for growth." And that is absolutely, positively a correct statement. Let me talk a little bit about public image in a broad sense and what we are facing, not only where you are in your districts, but also around the world. People who do not know Rotary have an incorrect idea about Rotary. Despite how much public image we've done a website, we've the Rotary magazines, we have podcasts, we have social media, we've done all of that. Despite that, there are still people who think that Rotary is Romeo, rich old men eating out. Well, look on the screen, that's not who we are. That's not who we are at all. We are very different. So as public image specialists for Rotary, as leaders in Rotary, it's really our responsibility to help negate that wrong impression. So what that means is that we must continue to tell people up front how different we have become. We have changed. That's the message that I think makes people listen differently. When you think about our recent history, we started changing in the late 80s when we brought women into Rotary. Then we changed in 2016 when our Council on Legislation created new meeting models. Now we have e-clubs and passport clubs and corporate clubs and all kinds of satellite clubs, different ways for people to come into Rotary. Prior to that, every club in the world did the same thing. We met 4 times a month. We took attendance. We rang bells, and there is nothing wrong with any of that. But there are some people who are looking for a different kind of meeting experience. And so that Council on Legislation was really transformative for our organization. And it allowed us to talk to non-Rotarians in a different way, in a very good way. You know better than I that an attractive club is one that is active. So I would encourage us to continue to use the active clubs in our districts and zones and talk about the work that they do. You know, very often I hear from districts who say, well, you know, we have a lot of small clubs in our district and they're small but mighty. And that may be true. And they may be doing some wonderful things in their community. But if a club has 6 members, what is that saying to the community about Rotary? 6 members? Rotary must not be that important if that's all they get in a club. So I would encourage our public image teams to continue to work to talk about the activeness of our clubs who are out there working on projects and making a difference in the world and creating impact, because it resonates with people who are not yet in our organization. For those who are in Rotary, it is important for public image teams to continue to share with them the messages of Rotary and the important work that we do. Another reason why it's important to highlight the work that Rotary clubs are doing. Every person in the world, regardless of the language or the country, likes to hear 2 things. They like to hear their own name and they like to hear thank you. So we cannot say thank you to clubs enough for the work that they do, for the difference they're making. You're changing the lives of people and families and children. And so as public image experts, we need to continue to recognize and support them by saying those words, by highlighting the work they do, and by saying thank you. I have a message that may resonate with some of you. I share it with president-elects each time I'm at a training for presidents, and it may be a message that you can use in your public image campaigns. And you may find it strange, but I tell presidents not to invite prospective members to club meetings. What is she saying? Instead, you should invite prospective members to projects or to socials. When we invite prospective members to our club meetings, and we are all guilty of this, even me, we start talking in Rotary language. And we say things like, the DG is coming with the DGE to a meeting after RILA, but before the COL. Well, if you have a prospective member who is not in Rotary, they're going to immediately think, I don't belong here. I don't even know what language they're speaking. It is much better to invite prospective members to places where they can see us in action. That way they can see who we are and what we do. So a project or a social is a much better way for us to promote the image of Rotary. So I'm going to stop. I realized I could talk a lot, but I don't want to do that because we have an expert with us on this call, past District Governor Tom Gump, and I'm going to ask him to share some additional information. Tom, it's yours.
Well, thank you, President-elect Stephanie. And I would rather ask you a few questions if that's okay.
That's okay.
So when it comes to public image and public relations, the message is so important. And we know that membership is our #1 internal priority at Rotary International, and that polio eradication is our #1 external programmatic goal. So what is the right message? What's the right terminology when someone asks us, is Rotary a membership organization or are we a service organization?
The correct way to answer that is that we are a membership organization that does service and we promote leadership. And the reason we say it that way is because the more members we have, the more service we can do. The less members we have, the less service we can do. It is not rocket science. It is very simple. So the correct way is to reflect that we are a membership organization that provides service.
Wonderful. And I know from listening to you on many seminars online and in person that you want everyone to take away concrete examples and things that we can do back in our own zones, districts, and clubs. So I also know that you often talk about the fact that we talk too much to ourselves, that Rotarians talk to other Rotarians, which is good, but we're not enough external facing. So I was wondering, can you tell us a little bit about the Strikeout for Polio baseball game that you're promoting next month?
Sure, that's just one strategy that we have for helping the community understand the beauty of our organization. The Strikeout Polio event is an event that's happening in my home area. I live in Pennsylvania in the United States on the west side near Pittsburgh. And we are having an American baseball game. And we are using a private box in the stadium to collect donations for polio. So the messaging to our community is that we are still committed to polio eradication, even though polio was eradicated in the United States in 1979. As Rotarians, we are united in service around the world. We are an international organization. Our PIN says Rotary International. And so our #1 project, as Tom has mentioned, continues to be the eradication of polio. And think about how far we've come. I remember when I joined Rotary over 30 years ago, there were 325,000 cases of polio every year. And now we're down to 6. I mean, we have really made incredible strides. And that's just one example of how an event can be a strategy to get messaging out to the community about the significance of what we do as an organization.
But I really love that as an example, Stephanie, because you and your team are about to raise $1 million for polio, which helps the foundation. At the same time, you're engaging members. And I understand that local people don't have to donate to $10,000 to get in the box, but they can sit in regular seats. So in the public relations, you had a full-page ad in the Rotary magazine, which David Alexander says is the cornerstone of the public relations. So I just love how that comes together. I was wondering if you can tell us about another event that with replays and live TV gets 80 million viewers a year, and that's the Pasadena Rose Bowl Parade. And can you tell us about your involvement in that in January?
Yes, every January 1st or 2nd, depending on the date, Rotary participates in the Rose Bowl Parade, which is held in Pasadena, California. The Rose Bowl Parade is an opportunity for Rotary to be visible, as Tom said, to over 80 million viewers who tune in to see that special parade. Each year, the Rotary president is allowed to sit on the float, and there are seats that are sold for other Rotarians who wish to participate or who wish to walk. But the fact that 80 million viewers see the Rotary float, and they also, if the Rotary float is deemed an award winner, and there are many awards, the commentators will also talk about Rotary and its mission and its vision. So it's an excellent opportunity for wide viewership and a way for Rotary to be seen in many places around the world.
And I understand that there's going to be a unique opportunity for public relations and public image coming up in February of next year, and that is the Presidential Peace Conference. How can we use that to promote Rotary?
Well, you know, the event is really a Presidential Peace Conference and celebration, because it's recognizing our newest peace center, which is opening in Istanbul, Turkey. There are many reasons for us to be there. Certainly, we're going to be celebrating the first class of students who Peace Fellows going through the program. We're going to be recognizing the opening of the center. But we're also having a peace symposium. So we've invited influential and inspirational speakers who are going to talk about the topics of peace. We've never needed a presidential peace conference more than we do right now. Every single day, as we pick up our device or listen to our televisions and radios, we hear terrible challenges happening around the world. So this is an opportunity for Rotarians, for former Peace Fellows, for trustees, for directors, and for anybody in the Rotary world to gather in Istanbul and to celebrate our mission. Our mission as an organization is founded on one of world understanding and peace. So it is our opportunity to gather and to show the public. There will be a public-facing event as well, coordinated by the local Rotaractors, that will invite anyone in Istanbul to join us. I think it's a peace walk, and to really walk for peace, which is what Rotary is organized to do, to foster that world understanding and peace. So for those of you who are interested, I send you an invitation. Please join us. It is February 20th, 21st, and 22nd in Istanbul, and registration for that event will open next month. So you will hear more from your director, Daniel, and others who will have that information to share. So please join us.
Well, thank you for that answer, and thank you for that wonderful invitation. So around the Rotary world, when we're talking about public image, I guess one of the biggest issues we're hearing recently is the ending of the annual theme and the replacing of it with the annual message. Can you tell us how we can use that annual message to promote Rotary?
Well, yes, first it's important to understand that there will be a message. It's just being called something different. Prior to Rotary Year 25-26, it was called the Presidential Theme. And of course, you know that the presidential theme this year for Gordon McAnally is Create Hope in the World. Next year, it's The Magic of Rotary. And those messages are meant to inspire Rotarians around the work that we already do, the work that we're doing to create lasting change in the world. The difference now is how it's being created. Prior to next year, the president nominee was asked to think about a theme, and then there were steps that had to be accomplished. The first step was taking that theme and working it through communications to make sure that it translated in all the languages that we have around the Rotary world. Then it had to be taken to the legal department to make sure that there were no copyrights or trademarks of that same language. Then we had to work with strategic planning to make sure that it came from the action plan, and all that happening, step after step after step, took time. Now, beginning with Mario's year, it will be a presidential message. And Mario has had the opportunity to work with all of those groups at the same time to create messaging. And there will be 3 levels of messaging, one for his year, then the following year, and the year after that he will reveal at IA, just like we've always done. So there will be a reveal. Mario will have special colors. There will be a tie. There will be a scarf. The only thing we won't have is a graphic. Instead, we will begin using our master brand for all visual communication so that we don't confuse the Rotary world or the non-Rotary world. Because when we have so many different graphics, it becomes difficult for people to understand who we are. Think about the graphic that is out there for Nike, that little check mark. That's it. That's the only one they use. Yet we have the master brand this year. We have the Create Hope, Gordon's theme. We just have so many, and it may become difficult for people to recognize what exactly Rotary is. So that's why we're going to presidential messaging and the master brand as our one and only logo.
Well, thank you for that answer. Now, a question regarding your theme and how to use it this year. As we go around the world, we're seeing great acceptance of the magic of Rotary. But I've noticed there's no verbs in the magic of Rotary. What verbs would you have all these professionals who are PI professionals, PR professionals, what verbs should we associate with the magic of Rotary?
That depends very much on how you're using the phrase. We can grow the magic of Rotary if we're talking about adding members to our organization. We can advance the magic of Rotary if we're talking about fundraising for our Rotary Foundation. We can celebrate the magic of Rotary if we're talking about celebrating an anniversary of a country, of a district, of a zone, of a club. We can spread the magic of Rotary if we're talking to non-Rotarians about the magic of our organization. So the verb very much depends on how you're planning to use that inspirational phrase.
Great. Now, the one question we get asked often is, what does the role of the regional Rotary magazines play in getting the word out about Rotary?
Well, a terrific resource for us in terms of sharing that message, especially with Rotarians. I can't tell you how many times people come up to me and say, "Oh, I know you did this or that. I read it in the magazine." Or, "Oh, that was a great photo of you in the magazine." So our Rotarian base, our membership, is using the Rotary magazine in a very meaningful way because they're learning about Rotary and looking for information. So our magazine and our regional magazines continue to be a terrific way for us to share information about Rotary.
Wonderful. And over the last 2 years since Wen Hung took over editorship of the main magazine, there's been a lot of changes and a lot of improvements. And rumor has it that the July issue is going to be a special issue. Can you tell us about the upcoming July issue?
Well, I don't know if special is the word that I would use, but it will have features about your president, and it will also have information about the incoming leadership. So I see Daniel is on this call, and he will be in that magazine as well, along with our other directors who have accepted and our trustees who have accepted positions. So the whole issue will be focused on Rotary leadership.
Wonderful. Now, we have a convention coming up in just over a year in Calgary. What is District 2452's responsibility and the public image responsibility for promoting that event?
Well, the responsibility is to make sure that people understand where it is, when it is, and why it is. So that's what our PR professionals will be focused on doing. So you know that it's going to be in Calgary, and you know that it's going to be in June. What are the dates, Tom? June.
Yeah, it's June 5th through 8th, I believe.
No, it's later in the month.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, well, we're gonna post it in. Both of us are just fresh off of Singapore, and I can't remember the dates. But why? Why are we having a convention? Well, that's simple. The convention is the time that Rotarians from around the world gather to celebrate and to meet each other. When we survey people who go to conventions, the number one reason they say they're there is to meet their Rotary friends. And so that's what's going to happen in Calgary next year. And we hope that you will continue to support that message. So Calgary next year is June 21st to the 25th.
And really the best time to promote is right before there's a price increase. So we'll let you know when those price increases are coming. And if we start promoting a week or two before that, that helps registrations, which helps the event. So I know that there must be people who have questions. So I'm going to stop asking questions and ask you to raise your hand, either in real life on the screen or put up your emoji hand, and we'll call on you. And Stephanie will be glad to answer any questions. I see PG Nicola is the first to ask a question from Serbia.
Hello, Tom. Hello, dear President. Madam President, a question and a comment. A question is, can you help us promoting importance of ending polio in the countries that already succeeded with it? As the incoming End Polio Now coordinator, I have a difficulties to justify and to explain to donators and to Rotarians why it's important to deal it in the countries where polio is far, far away. And the comment about Presidential Peace Conference in Istanbul, it is very important to have it, and I'm very happy that we are having it here in neighborhood. And if it's still possible to add some panel or something like that, I know the deadline was in April. I think that there is a good idea of having some artificial intelligence panel together at Presidential Peace Building Conference in Istanbul.
Well, thank you for your comment and your question. I'll handle your question first. So, yes, there are countries all over the world who say the same thing, Nicola, that why should we continue with this fight against polio? We're tired. We've donated. You know, we haven't seen polio in a long time. And the way that I talk to Rotarians is to remind them about what we saw 2 years ago. Polio ended up in New York City. It ended up in London. It ended up in the wastewater because what we had been saying all along actually happened. Somebody got on a plane and visited a country and brought it back to the US and brought it back to England. That's why we have to continue to be vigilant and to continue this. The second thing I remind people of is it's not just polio in children that we're trying to eradicate. There's something called post-polio syndrome. In my area of the world where I lived, there was a very famous newscaster on television, and he spoke to my Rotary district 3 times. The first time he came, he talked about being a polio survivor. He had polio as a child, and he survived it. The second time he came to speak to us, he had to be helped up on the stage. There was a railing and steps, and he needed some help getting up on the stage. The third time that he came to speak to us, he didn't get up on the stage. He asked for the microphone to come down to where he was sitting. And he said, I can no longer walk on steps. I cannot climb the steps anymore because I have post-polio syndrome. And I know that my future is going to include a wheelchair. That's what we're trying to prevent. We don't want children, we don't want adults, we don't want anyone to have to suffer the consequences of that disease. You know, in January this year, I visited Pakistan. And the main reason for me going was to meet with the male and female frontline workers. And Tom was also on that trip. So when we met with the female workers, these are the women who do the dangerous and difficult role of going house to house. They're doing the work of Rotary for us. They're being shot at. They're climbing mountains to get to these places. Now, Rotary and our partners, we've hired armed guards to go with them, and that's cut down on some of the difficulty, but it's still dangerous work. So we did a special ceremony for them. And we gave them certificates, and they had a chance to take a picture with me and all of that. But they said that they were so happy that we were there to do that because it showed that we support them. And they were happy to know that they have the support of Rotarians around the world to continue the job that they were doing. The second group that we met with were the male frontline workers. Now, their job was a little different. In Pakistan, they have transit stops on the highways. And the transit stops are there so that police can go into the vehicles and check for contraband, whatever. But there were also babies on these buses. So the male frontline workers take the carriers and actually go into the bus and immunize the babies on the bus. And Tom and I asked, how many do you do? They do 3,000 a day, every day. So to me, it's not if we're going to eradicate polio, it's when, because they are so dedicated. And, you know, we talk about the final two countries being Afghanistan and Pakistan. It's really not the whole country. It's the border between the two countries in that mountainous region. That's where there's still endemic wild polio. So we have to continue the battle. If we stop, we backslide. And all those cases that would have been prevented will pop up because the virus will travel. And we will be back where we started when I became a Rotarian with hundreds of thousands of cases a year. And we can't afford to do that. We want to be the organization that goes down in history. Every single one of you on this screen are making history by being a Rotarian. And every time we donate, whether it's $1 or $10 or $100, we are becoming a part of history. And that is something that we should be proud of as Rotarians. So that's why we continue our fight. And the second part of your question, Nicola, about the peace conference and the programming, I would refer you offline to past District Governor Tom Gump, who is on that committee or affiliated with that committee, and he can give you more information about what the programming committee is doing and how that is being fleshed out. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Stephanie, I know that part of your job in advocating for polio is advocating with some of the world governments to make sure they keep on funding and giving other support. Can you tell us about your recent meeting with the President of the Philippines and with the Prime Minister of Pakistan?
In both cases, yes. I met with the Prime Minister of Pakistan, and his comments were to praise Rotary and our efforts. And of course, the government in Pakistan is supportive and is a financial donor to the effort as well. And when I was in the Philippines and I met with Ferdinand Marcos Jr., he immediately talked about his mother. And his mother was the one who signed the declaration allowing President Jim Bomar to go into the Philippines and do that first pilot project of immunizing babies in the Philippines. He was very proud of that. And he talked on and on and on. And it also is a financial supporter of our efforts. So, governments around the world recognize the importance of what we do and the importance of the history that we're making.
And Stephanie, with World Polio Day coming up at the end of October, can you give District 2452 some ideas that they can give their clubs to celebrate that?
How much time do we have? There are lots of ideas of how to support.
You have all the time, Stephanie. Don't worry.
Well, one that comes to mind right now is to simply do a campaign based on your district number. Years ago, one of the things I asked my district to do, I happen to be in District 7305. And I asked everybody in the district, to write a check to donate $73.05. And I made it funny. I said, wait till the foundation sees all these checks with 5 cents on the end of it, But the reality was we raised a lot of money. You could do the same thing with $43.55 or $24.52 to make your district aware of the importance of what we're doing. There are polio walks, there are polio runs, there are all sorts of strategies that people come up with. They've been very creative. Rotarians have really been creative for ways to introduce the concept of polio eradication in their communities, both for Rotarians as well as non-Rotarians. So I leave that up to you, actually, as experts in the field of public image. I know that you will come up with very creative and different ways to get people rallied around our efforts to eradicate polio.
Stephanie, our district is a unique district, consists of 9 countries and 3 continents, different languages, different cultures, So we have all the, the roots or the pillars that need to do something. I hope, inshallah, with your words and your inspired speech, it will help us.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Go ahead, Tom. Sorry to interrupt you.
Well, Stephanie, I thought it was interesting the other day you were telling me about a 0-mile polio walk.
Yes, I participated in one here in the United States. Typically when people have walks or runs, they call them 5K walks or 5K runs. This was a 0K run. They had 2 flags, and they were probably, I don't know, a couple of steps apart. And the rules were you had to come in your pajamas or your bathrobe, and they had coffee and donuts, and you paid an entry fee, and it was in the US, so it was $25 US. You had some coffee, you had a donut, and when they said, okay, start, let's go, you walked a couple of paces and you ended up at the other flag and you were done. So it was a 0K walk for polio. It was fun because people got to socialize and have coffee and donuts and talk to each other.
Well, PDG, Nigel, I don't see any more questions in the chat or any hands raised.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Stephanie. I would like to ask our Rotary International Director-elect, Danielle Tennessee. Please, Danielle, if you have a few words.
Yeah, first of all, I extend my gratitude to President-elect Stephanie Urchick and to past District Governor Tom Gump for joining the meeting. I congratulate District Governor Bashar and the public image team for this initiative. Having President-elect Stephanie and Tom here, it's a really treasure for us. And I will challenge you and ask a question. Do you know how many invitations does President Stephanie receive in 10 days, let's say, and the one who will be closest to the correct answer will receive a magic gift from me at the district conference in Amman. So how many invitations does President-elect Stephanie receive in 10 days to participate in events, in Rotary events?
100.
100? Any other answer?
10,000.
How many clubs we have in the
2,000.
10,000? Okay, in 10 days.
10.
Okay.
2,000.
In 2,000. So 10,000 is not so bad, I can tell you. But I think Stephanie can give us the correct answer. So in 10
I
days,
I get approximately 34 invitations every day. So in 10 days, that would be 340 invitations to
Yeah.
come to a club, a district, a Zoom, a meeting, something. Yeah.
so this means
Our invitation, which one, Daniel, ask?
1,000 per month. You know, we can calculate, do the math easily. So it's very precious to have in a Zoom meeting, even in a Zoom meeting. And I thank President-elect Stephanie and Tom once again, and I congratulate you. I also endorse the invitation to register for the Peace Conference in Istanbul. It will be a great event. And if I can tell something about you to President Stephanie, is that you are one of the most loved, I can say, districts in our zone, because you are so diverse. And if you get to have a friend in your district, you will have another 8 friends from the other countries of your districts right away. So thank you so much for being such wonderful people and inviting me to this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you very much, my dear friend, Daniel. You know how much, you're for us. Thank you, Daniel. And of course, we look forward to work with you next year, inshallah. Thank you very much, Daniel, to be with us here. Tom, there is, I think, in the chat about 3 questions. Can you look?
Okay, looking in the chat now.
Yeah. Peter,
I don't see any additional questions.
From Jean, there's one from Jean. She can ask. She can.
Yes, please.
Jean, are you here there?
Jeanne d'Arc.
Jeanne d'Arc, huh?
Yes, hello everyone. Would you like me to read the questions?
Please, go ahead.
Of course. First of all, thank you so much for this fruitful seminar. It tackled many points that it was not only a refresher, but something to keep in mind. My question starts with how can us as Rotarians leverage the public image to be able to promote peace initiatives and projects within our community even further?
Well, I think that a simple answer to that, Jean, is to use the tools that we have in Rotary. We have so many tools in Rotary that help us with the underlying issues surrounding peace. For instance, we have a beautiful set of 4 sentences called the 4-way test. I like to remind clubs, you should not just recite it, you should live it. You should live the 4-way test, because then that would foster a more peaceful climate, beginning with yourself, then in your family, then in your Rotary Club, then in your community. So the 4-way test is a really important way for us to share the message of harmony and peace. We have a beautiful, beautiful program online called our Rotary Peace Activator Program. It's a simple thing that you can do in our learning center. And in 2 hours, you can learn the difference between negative peace and positive peace, and begin to understand ways that you, as a Rotarian, can activate peace within your own community. We have a program called the Rotary Peace Pole Project, where we install monuments in our communities, either in a park or at a location on a school campus. And they are visual monuments that say, "May peace prevail on earth," in the languages that represent your communities. It's a visual representation for anybody to see that Rotary is about building peace. The new ones have QR codes, so people who don't know about Rotary can take their device and learn more about Rotary. They have the Rotary Master Brand, and they're very inexpensive. You can even have a local school. If you have a vocational technical school, students can make the peace pole. But it's really an easy way for a club to show its community that we're about peace building. And of course, we have our Rotary Peace Centers around the world. We have 6, and when the first class goes to Istanbul, we'll have 7. Right now, we have 1,800 graduates who have learned about peace and conflict resolution and are taking that back and using it in professions to help develop ways to foster peace. So, we have many, many ways that we can do this as Rotarians. One of the questions I always get is, well, how should we do this? Why should we do this? We're just an organization, and these are tools, but they're not going to stop war. Of course not. And we're not going to negotiate, the release of hostages. Of course we aren't. But it's very much like the story of the starfish. Some of you may have seen my earrings today. I have starfish on my ears. There's a reason. The starfish story about the young boy who's walking along a beach, and he sees starfish who have washed up with the tide. And he bends over and he picks one up and he throws it back in the ocean. And the man says to him, who's walking, he says, what are you doing? You can't save all the starfish. Look, there are thousands of them. Well, you'll never be able to reach and make a difference. You can't possibly make a difference. And the little boy bends down, he picks up a starfish and he says, "I'm making a difference for this one." And he throws it in. And that's the same idea that I feel about what we do as Rotarians. If we foster an environment in our clubs where there's no bickering and there's no tension and it's peaceful and happy, and Rotarians are changing the world, then that's our starfish. Each time that we make a change in our clubs, what's one more starfish? Each time we send a student out in our youth exchange program, they're creating peace one student at a time. That's another starfish. So we have ways in our programs and in our organization to create an atmosphere of change for peace. So we just need to grab onto them and start to use them. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Stephanie. I mean, excellent example and really inspiring. Thank you. We have with us BDG's George Azar, Mazen Omran, Gunesh, also Michel Jazzar. Please, I mean, anyone of my dear friends, I mean, have anything to want to say?
PDG Nijad.
Yes.
I would like to say something. In fact, in District 2452 last year, we initiated a PEX Potentia Club, which is a Peace Builders Club. And it's working good. And we'll be participating in next year, February, Istanbul Peace Conference. I guess PDG Michel also did something in June Rotary. We have an article about that. Okay.
Fantastic.
This is an article. It's in this June Rotary magazine, and I'm proud to see that this club is going to flourish and work with in the same direction of the peace seminar in this area. We need it.
And I'm
Great.
proud of you for helping to make that happen, PDG George. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, PDG George. Thank you very much. Mazen, you have something? Michelle Jazar, Ganesh? No?
Nothing. If I may, I would like to ask PDG Tom, please put on the chat your coordinates, because I'm preparing, as you know, another presentation about making your club an irresistible club, which is really what our Rotary International President-elect is looking forward. Okay, and I like that. I would like to confer with you and have your help in preparing that presentation. Okay, if I can get your coordinates so that we can deal in a different way. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to go now to District Governor-elect Peter. Do you have something? Peter,
thank you, PDG Nijad. It was excellent listening to our president-elect, and we are all looking forward. Of course, you have done, Nijad, a great job at the public image team, and it's important for us to work together. And we are hoping also to see the president firstly in Constantinople at the peace conference, and also maybe in Cyprus if she's available after the peace conference. It will be a very big boost for our district to have her joining us and seeing how we all work in peace in our region, how we try to bring peace in our region. So we are very happy to have her as a president, and hoping for all the best for our region as well.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Peter.
Peter.
I
Thank you.
understand she is coming to Cyprus, so I will see you there.
Yes.
So we'll meet you, Stephanie. Sure. I would ask our great and lovely district governor nominee designated or nominee now, May Mullah from Lebanon. May, please, if you have something.
Thank you, Nijad. Thank you, dear Stephanie, for your lovely presentation. And Tom, I think the public image is the best issue in Rotary to show the magic of this organization. And the best thing you have said at the beginning, we need to avoid speaking the Rotary language with the non-Rotarian, and to believe that half of the community knows nothing about Rotary. So our job is to spread the message and speak very simply and target the non-Rotarian so that we will increase our membership. Thank you so much, and counting for a fruitful year, hopefully with your guidance.
Thank you, May. You know, people say to me, they send wishes for a successful year, and I say, how can I go wrong? I'm going to have 1.4 million helpers. You know, our vision statement begins with the word together for a reason. So I'm looking forward. It's my honor to be able to work with all of you together. We are going to really make magic for Rotary.
Inshallah, hopefully. Thank you. Thank you, Nijad.
Thank you, May. Stephanie, I hope we didn't take so much time from you, but we are really, really enjoying it, and thank you. I would like to ask our great and lovely district governor, Bashar Haddad, who is always there to support us, you know. Bashar, I don't have enough words to say thank you. So please, go ahead. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, PDG Nijad. Incoming President Stephanie, thank you for these great insights. It tells us something. If it tells us something, it tells us, it truly reveals the remarkable Rotary spirit that you have. Thank you for being with us. You really enriched us tonight with your approach and thoughts. And thank you for considering the $24.52, not the $2,452 from each member. I think this is something good. Thank you for being with us.
It would have been better.
Yeah, PDG Tom, your questions are really remarkable, and they covered all our questions, the one that we have and the one the ones that we're gonna think about them in the future. Thank you for everything, PDG Tom. PDG Nijad and the PI team. This is the last, but not least, PI meeting for this year. I would like to thank you, not as a governor, but as a member of Rotary District 2452 for all the great effort that you added, all you and the team, for our knowledge this year. As for everyone who's attending here, I would like to thank them all for your dedication to Rotary. We couldn't have done all of these trainings and seminars all through the year without you showing up and your support. So I would like, from me as a Rotarian, to thank you for all your service that you are doing in our community. Thank you, everyone.
Bashar, as I said, I don't have enough word to say thank you, because it was a really great year working with you. And of course, I promise also Hussein and Peter and Mai will continue working, because our district is something, as I said, unique and in our heart. So we'll keep
not as much as we did this year. Please promise me this.
Thank you, Bashar.
If we don't do more, it means we are failing. So you gave us the incentive to work more, Bashar.
Best of luck. Best of luck.
The way he handled the things, Bashar, it's amazing. Anyhow, thank you, Bashar. Thank you very much for being with us. My dearest Rotarians, thank you all. Of course, first, thank you, Stephanie, for your time and for your work and for your inspiring speeches. It was really great. Tom, thank you for your support and accepting moderating the session, because it was great also the way you handled. My dearest fellow Rotarians, thank you again for being here tonight, for listening, and for allowing these wonderful people to be a part of our day. I appreciate your attention, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to connect with you all. So I can say good night now, and have a wonderful Rotary journey. And we'll keep the little bit the screen and the Zoom meeting if somebody want to just changing some idea or some words. Stephanie, thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
Hope to see you soon, Stephanie, somewhere.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello. Azza.
Hi. It was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. It's beautiful.
Can we stop the recording?
الحقيقة it was great as always. يعني أنا